Hello and warm greetings to all the participants, educators, and mentors from across the world. I am Abhiraman Vishimbaran and I am glad to be your host today. Welcome to the Masterclass series on the backdrop of the International Computing Olympiad ICO, proudly presented by Qubits Learning in association with Athena Education, Copperstone Education, and Be Curious STEM Learning. Our masterclass offers expert-led sessions in each competition track. You will learn key skills, practical tips, and interesting strategies to help you get deep into the ICO 2025. Today's session expert is Ms. Ishwita Mohan, ME B.Ed. Ms. Ishwita has an impressive background as a content development lead at Qubits Learning and is poised to significantly enrich your masterclass series today. Welcome, Ms. Ishwita Mohan.
Thank you, Abhiraman, for the warm introduction. Good evening, everyone.
Before I pass on to Ms. Ishwita for the masterclass, let me give you details about the ICO 2025 and the working of the Qubits Learning Management System. So you can visit www.computingolympiad.org to get into the official website of the International Computing Olympiad 2025. You can go about the website and find what the International Computing Olympiad is all about, how you can be a climate action hero. You can also find about the 4 different tracks that we have for the competition and the price money associated with all the tracks, certificates, and the free access that you will get through the ICO. You can also find the important dates associated with the ICO. And on the top, you have the guidelines, which will give you the general rules and regulations of the competition, the judging criteria, and the specific guidelines for the participants for the ICO. You also have the events page, which will update you about the upcoming events that we will be having parallelly with the ICO. So I know most of you have joined and registered for the ICO 2025. For those who haven't, let me give you a small recap on how you can register. So at the home website itself, you can find the Register Now button. You can click on that. Which will take you to the team registration. You can follow up by filling the team details with the team name and the team size. The maximum members allowed in a team is 3. An individual can also participate. You can follow it up with the mentor details. You can fill all the details, the student details, and you can also enter the contest category selection, wherein which you can select the particular track for the ICU. You can follow it up by ticking the boxes in declaration and clicking submit, which will take you to the payment gateway. So here in the payment gateway, you will have on the left side, you will have the challenge that you have selected, and on the right, you will have the corresponding entry fee. You also will have an ad promotion button here. So we will be updating you regarding the promotion codes. You can make use of that and avail a discount on the competition. So it is the mentor who will have to complete the registration process, the payment processes. And as when the mentor does that, the mentor email ID will receive verification and confirmation emails, which will have the login registrations for the Qubits LMS. So it will have the participant, the student login credentials, the mentor login credentials, and the Qubits LMS Learning Management System link. So students can log in with their credentials to the Qubits Learning Management System with their login credentials. They can log in like this. So when they log in, this is how their dashboard would look like. So mine is a demo account. That is why I have all the challenges. So suppose you select climate action challenge, you will have that in your dashboard. So you can find it along with the challenge details. You can click on the challenge details. You can understand the problem statement of the climate action challenge in depth. You can also find the guidelines for the participants and the judging criteria here. So since you have opted for climate action challenge, you will have access to Python preparatory course. So you can find it here in the top. There is a drop down. You can find preparatory course Python. You can select that, which will take you to the course overview of Python, where you will understand what all you will be learning about Python. Um, in the syllabus category itself on Python programming, you can, on the right, you will have another drop down which will show you the breakdown of chapters. The chapter 1 is basics of Python programming. You can click on that, and you can you can find multiple video tutorials and checkpoints. So these video tutorials and checkpoints will be there throughout the chapters. Students can prepare one by one, and they can systematically prepare the entire Python programming module. So once they are done with that, they can start kick off with their project by clicking My Projects. So this is how, if you click on that, on the right, you will find create new project. So you can create new project. You can choose Python here. So here you can start writing your code and you can write your code here, and on the right you will have all the buttons to run, to reset, to debug, to save your code, and if you want to share, you can download your particular code and share it with your friends, and if you want to receive, you can upload uh, your codes, upload code from your friend over here. So this is how the qubits LMS work. You students can work in a tandem, collaborate, and prepare for their project. So this is one among the many attributes why Qubits was recently awarded the prestigious ISTE seal of recognition, which is a very prestigious moment for all of us. So this is how the student uh, how students can use the LMS. The mentor can use the LMS by giving in their by writing in their credentials here in the login page. So as the mentor login, you will find the particular challenge where your students have logged in for. So your students have logged in climate action challenge. You can click on start submissions here. So the mentor can now view the contest details of the climate action challenge. They can go in depth about all the details there, following which they can view the rubric grading criteria, which is nothing but the judging criteria, where you will have multiple levels and points associated with that criterias, following which you will have the where you can begin, following which you can begin the submission protocols. So uh, the code files which are less than 4 MB, they can directly upload it here. And those code files which exceeds 4 MB, they can paste the code file here, code file URL here. And if you want to, if the mentor, if the the video link for the presentation can you can paste your video link here, and finally the PPT link which is less than 4 MB, you can directly upload it here, and if the PPT link is more than 4 MB, you can paste the presentation file URL here and click submit. So this is how yeah, the students and mentors can use the Qubits LMS. Now I request Ms. Ishwita Mohan to uh, uh, to start the masterclass webinar series, Climate Action Challenge, Finding Solutions with Python. If you have any questions regarding the ICO or this session, please write them in the chat box. We will address the questions during the Q&A session. Over to you, Ms. Ashwita.
Thank you, Abhiraman. I'm really excited to be here with all of you today for the Masterclass series. And now let's get started with the today's session. Let me share my screen with the presentation. So as you all know, today's session is on Climate Action Challenge, finding solutions with Python. And today you'll be able to learn how to build projects that actually makes a difference for a environment, right? And before we dive into something that combines two super powerful things, that is the technology and the climate action, let's explore the challenge for the track. So the track Climate Action Challenge is applicable for the students aged between 11 to 14 years. We are inviting you all to create an innovative application, the application that should help people make smarter choices for the planet and something that can actually contribute to fight against climate change. So what is our primary goal? Our primary goal is to develop an application and it has to help others take real steps to live more sustainably. And you can develop the application either using Python or using web technologies, or you can use both to analyze daily choices and their climate impact. So I have just given you an introduction about the track. Now let's take a closer look at the problem we are actually trying to solve, right? So in order to discuss about the problem statement, I would like to read out some questions like why does climate action matter so much right now, and what's really happening around us that needs our attention. So firstly, the major issue is that the global temperatures are rising faster than ever, right? And this means that more heat waves, floods, wildfires, and many more is happening. And why are these happening? This is the problem that we are currently facing. And what is the reason behind all these problems? The problem is due to the human activities. We human, uh, we we burn fossil fuels, we cut down the forest and increasing greenhouse gas emissions. So these greenhouse gas emissions are like carbon dioxide can trap the heat in the atmosphere. And due to that, the more we emit, the hotter is the planet is becoming, and that's why the planet is getting affected. So, and this is the brief introduction about the problem statement. Now we have seen the problem the world is currently facing and the reason behind the problem. And now we human need to take steps to solve this. Right? What are the steps that we can take? We can avoid using petrol and diesel vehicles. We can avoid wasting electricity. We can avoid using plastic, and we can expand the renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and hydro, right? And let's discuss on how the technology can help us to solve this issue. We know the issue, we know the reasons, and we know how the actions can be taken, and how can we use the technology to solve this problem. So it's now time to think about the questions like, can your code help people make better choices? Right? And can technology guide people to reduce pollution or use cleaner energy? So the answer for these questions is absolutely yes. That's the whole idea behind the challenge. And you can also be a part of this challenge, be a climate action hero, and you can code for a change by participating in the challenge. So let's zoom in on one of the most visible climate issues and discuss in detail today, right? And the topic that we are going to consider is about the air around us. So what's really happening to the air around us? Absolutely, it is air pollution, right? We are having it everywhere, and especially in big cities, we can see a lot of pollution, and many human are affected with many diseases due to the pollution. And various human activities such as usage of petrol, diesel powered vehicles, and burning of coal, these are all the reasons behind the air pollution, which contribute significantly to the pollution of the air. And these pollutions are happening due to the release of harmful gases. I have just listed down three of the gases on the slide, which is carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. And of course, there are many other gases, dust particles, we have methane, we have nitrous oxide. So there are many other gases that affect our environment. And of course, it's going to affect our health and our future as well, right? So how are we going to use code to help people see and understand the air quality? Let's discuss on that. Okay. And what if we could build a project that shows people this data and help them act? Okay. And based on this idea and the problem I have just said, let me show one project idea. So we have the problem. The problem is the air pollution, and how can we build a project based on this? So the name of the project is Air Health Advisor System. So this is how the project works. You can enter the pollution levels. You can get the input of pollution levels like carbon dioxide level, nitrogen dioxide, and sulfur dioxide. And then the application takes in these input. Of course, you can add other gases as well. I have just considered, to make it simple, I have considered only three most powerful gases that are affecting our environment. And now this application takes in the input details, which are the levels of carbon dioxide and other gases, and it gives the feedback. That is the climate action that we are taking, right? The problem is that the pollution levels, and now we are taking a climate action. So we are going to give the feedback on the average pollutant level. What is the average pollutant level, and the tips to reduce the pollution? That is most important. That is the action that we are taking against this problem. And finally, it we can also draw a bar chart that makes the users to visually see how the air quality is affected. And what if you are working on this particular project as a team? I'd like to give you some tips and steps that you can follow so that you can develop such projects as a team. So let's get into details of how you can develop the project as a team. So starting with the first step is that you have to plan the project. That's most important. It's not that you have to directly start with the coding. There should be some phases that you have to go through before you are completing your project, before you are really starting the coding part, right? And what is there that you need to do during the planning phase? Okay, firstly, we need to think about what the problem is and what are you solving for, and what is your application supposed to do. And you can also discuss among your team members what features are absolutely necessary and what can be added later in the later stage. So you can take some time to brainstorm and write the things down and come up with a complete plan initially. And later in the second step, you will get into analysis and design phase. In this phase, once we have our goals clear, okay, we need to figure out the details, like what kind of information will the users give the app and what they will get back. So what is the input that is obtained from the application, and what is the logic, what kind of processing that you are going to do, and what will be the final output. So you will have a complete understanding of how the application is going to work. And of course, you can also decide on the look and feel of your application. You can design the application user interface design. So even a rough diagram, rough drawing on your paper can help visualize how users will move through your app. And next is the most interesting part, that is the coding phase, where you are going to really implement the project. And when you are implementing the project, it's better to split the whole project into various modules, and then you can determine the task for each module and then start with the implementation phase. Like in our case, if you see the Air Health Advisor system, we can say that there can be a module which gets in the input from the user, and we can do the logic part, like comparing the levels of carbon dioxide with the whether it has crossed the limit or it is within the limit, and then finally you can visualize them in the visualization module, right? So after making your team members implement different modules, you can integrate the module with the help of your mentor, and you can finally combine all the modules into one single working program, right? And even your program can have, your project can have many programs, or if it is very simple, it can be in one single program as well. So it's where you will be seeing that all your individual pieces come together and it will become a project, a full solution, or what is the one that you are intended to, right? And you can also expect a lot of errors when you are integrating and when you are working as a team and many members are joining together, and finally when you're integrating, of course you can see many errors coming up. So the last step is debugging and testing, where you can fix the errors. I will also take you through the process of how you can fix the common errors that you can see while you are executing your project, and where you can look for the bugs and you can fix them, right? And when you are working as a team, you can share your ideas. There are many advantages, right? You can share your ideas and you can share your creativity and attention to detail, listen to each other ideas and help each other in coding. That's also most important. If one of the team member lacks coding, you can discuss with the other team member, you can improve your problem solving skills, and that's how you can complete your project, right? So this is all about how you can work on your project as a team. I hope whatever I said until now is clear. If you have any questions, you can post it in the chat box. Now let's get into the project demonstration. I'll show how the project is implemented, the one I was talking about, and let's see a bit about the coding as well. So I hope you can all see my screen with the project. This is the actual code that is written for the project. So let's execute this Air Health Advisor system and check the result. In order to execute the program, we can click on to this run button, which is at the bottom here. And now I can see that the project has started executing, and I'm entering the input of carbon dioxide level as 34, for example, and here I can see enter NO2 level, right? In terms of ppm, we are giving some input. Ppm is nothing but parts per million. Okay, I can enter, let me enter some input for nitrogen dioxide. So 56 ppm, and SO2 level, I'm making it as 67. And now if I'm submitting it, I'll be able to see the overall result. So overall result looks good, but then the average pollutant level is score is 51, and we can see that pollutant levels here. We can visually see how the each and every gas is getting affected and what is the level it is. So even there are some dotted lines which indicates the maximum limit. When it crosses the limit, you will be able to see the bars in the red color. Okay. So let me detail about the whole project, how it is developed. We have used Matplotlib, which is the library which allows us to visualize you through charts and graphs, right? And we have various functions here. Each one is intended to do a specific thing. And analyze air quality is a function that gets in the input of all the levels of gases, and it checks the pollutant levels. So what we have done here is that we have checked the level of carbon dioxide and other gases. If it is crossing the limit, see these limits, you can do a bit of research and find out like what can be the level. And when it crosses the level, what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to take a climate action. So what is the action that we are taking if the level is increased? We are letting the people know that CO2 is high, and the action is to switch to renewable energy and plant more trees, which will indeed reduce the carbon dioxide level, right? And there are conditions where we are doing similar thing. The conditions we are having, we are checking the nitrogen dioxide level and sulfur dioxide level, and we are taking appropriate climate action. And finally, we are also ending up finding the average score, where we are finding the ratios of CO2, NO2, and SO2, and we are doing an averaging out the result, and we are printing it on the screen. And these input are given to the another function, which is show graph, which will indeed show us the graphical representation. We can visually see what are the pollutants and what values are there, and we can also give the limits here, and we can using certain conditions, you can also color the bars with the specific colors, right? And here, if it is increasing, if it is more than the limit, then we can show that a warning signal using the red color. And if it is moderate, then we can show it using the orange color. And if it is less than half of the limit, so if it is less than half of the limit, in this case, if it is less than 200, then we will be seeing it in green color, which indicates that we are in the safer zone. Okay. And this is all about the functions that we have used, and the program starts working from this point where it gets the input, and it supplies the input as a parameter to the function analyze air quality, and the program starts executing from that point onwards. So now this is all about the program that I have just shown. And now let me also take you through the process of testing the program. Okay. Now let me So I have right now pasted a program which contains some errors, and we are going to resolve the errors now. Okay. And by the time I'm resolving, I will also give you some tips to resolve. And let's start with that process. Now I'm executing it, and I'm able to see that there is an error. So the error is that there is a syntax error in line number 8. It indicates that there is a syntax error. So let me go to line number 8, and I'm able to see that the colon is missing. So syntax errors are more common. You might forget uh, uh, to close the brackets. You might forget to do the punctuations wherever it is necessary. So these kind of errors are syntax errors, and our platform shows you the right place where the error is happening, and you can easily get into the line and make the changes. Right now, let me execute and check for the next error. So I'm entering some details, some input of each and every gas, and I'm able to see the next error, greater than not supported between instances of str and int, between string and integer. Let me go to the line number 8 and check this out. So here it says that there is a comparison that is happening between a text and a number. Okay. So in this case, how are we going to uh, solve this? I mean, fix this issue. So I would like all the participants to answer this question now. Uh, can you all come up with the answer? Just think for a while. I will give you one tip that the problem is with the way the input is being obtained. It says that the input that we have obtained is when we are comparing it with the number, there is an error that is happening, okay, which is the comparison between the string and the number. Can you all think for a while and answer this question in the chat box? I'd like all the participants to join this and answer this question. I can see various answers. Yeah, I can see that use float function to convert. I can see int function. I can see one of the answer as we have to convert string input into integer. Of course, everyone has come up with the right answer, and that's the issue here. In Python, when we are getting an input, the input will be in the form of a string, and we are supposed to convert it into some other data type. Here in this case, it can be integer, it can be floating point number. So the most appropriate one can be a floating point number, and I'm rectifying this by making changes to the code. So this is called typecasting, and we are changing one data type into another. And now once I'm doing this, let me execute and check for the result again. So here it says that cannot access local variable climate score where it is not associated with a value. So this error indicates that there is a problem with the variable climate score. And let's go to the line number 21 to check exactly what is the issue. So line number 21 contains the climate score that is incremented by 2, and it is unable to increment since it is not associated with any value. When you are using any variable in Python or in any programming language, it is important that we need to initialize the variable with some value, right? So in this case, the climate score variable should be initialized to 0 so that it gets incremented whenever the values are crossing the limit. Okay, now I'm executing and checking the result. I'm able to see that the program is working partly, but at the end, I'm able to see show graph missing one required positional argument SO2. So let me move to line number 41 to check what exactly is the error. There is a function called show graph. It says that one required positional argument. Okay. Now, once again, I want the session to be more interactive. Let me get the solution from all the participants. Please let me know like what can be the way in which we can fix this error. Can you come up with the answers? And if you are ready with your answers, please put it in the chat. Let's discuss. Need to pass 3 arguments. Excellent. Yes. Wonderful. Yeah, we have to add the other gas, SO2. Exactly. Yeah. So when this is one particular problem that or the error that you might encounter when you are calling any function. So you will be you have to make sure that you are calling the function with all the required parameters. So we have implemented or we have defined the function with 3 parameters, but we are calling with only 2 values. So let me add SO2 at the end, and I'm now executing it. So we have successfully rectified all the errors and debugged the program. And here you are able to see that the graph is also displayed at the end, right? So this is one way that you can test your, you can execute the program as and when you get the errors, you can fix it out. And there is one more important thing that you can use it from our platform. So I would like to explain that there is an option called debug in our platform, and how can you use it to debug your program, right? Now what you have seen is that you have seen the errors and you are testing it and you are finding the making the changes with your code. But what if that you wanted to see what is the value of climate score at any moment? And what if you wanted to know that where are you at any moment, like where the in what how the interpreter is working and how the flow of execution is happening, right? In such cases, there is an option in our platform which is very helpful to debug your code. So after clicking on to debug, you will be able to see that the whole program is appearing at the bottom, and you are able to see some yellow line appearing, right? So this indicates that the interpreter has started functioning and it is at the first line of code. In order to make the interpreter proceed with the execution, we can click on to the forward button and you will be able to see that the program is executing in this way. And now it is waiting for us to enter the input. So it has already executed this print statement and we are able to see the result on the screen. Here you can enter the carbon dioxide level, and then now I'm proceeding further with the next one, which is the nitrogen dioxide level. And I'm proceeding further. It asks the SO2 level. And once I'm entering, you will be able to move to the next statement, right? So here, when we are, when it has completed getting the input, it calls the function analyze air quality, and we will get into the function here. You can see that the interpreter is now going to execute the lines inside the function, right? And you can see many variables associated with the program, right? There are variables called suggestions, climate score, CO2, NO2, and SO2. So what are the values of these variables and how are we going to check that? So at this moment, we will be able to see the values of all the variables right over here at the bottom. Can see here CO2 is 56, NO2 is 67, and suggestions doesn't contain anything at the moment, and climate score is 0. Right. Now, let me proceed further and let me show you the suggestions list. So now it has checked two conditions and the suggestions list is now appended with two different items. And I'm proceeding further. So I'm directly pressing on clicking the last button, which makes me to end the project, and the complete debugging will be done. You'll be able to see what each and every variable is holding at the end. And if you are made any kind of logical error or any kind of error, you'll be able to easily spot where the error has happened and at which point the changes need to be made, right? So this is one thing that you can use from our platform. And apart from this, when you are using matplotlib in other tools, you will need you have to install it, okay? So but here it is all pre-installed and you don't need to uh, install it by yourself, okay? Now let me also take you through the other tools which can help you to build your project. And before getting into that, I would like to show you how to save your project in our platform. So this, using the Cloud IDE and Python, you will be able to work on your projects. But then if you want to save your projects, you can go to My Projects and click on to create new project and get into Python. So you can even type your projects over here, execute it, debug, run, save, whatever you wanted to do with the code, you can do here. And you can even upload the program. Let me show you how you can upload your program. I have uploaded one program, and once you are uploading, you will be able to see that by clicking onto the option in the left side. I have uploaded this particular program, and now when I'm clicking, I'll be able to see the code written for the program, right? And in order to save, you can use this button, save button, and it has now got saved. And this is the option wherein you can rename your project. Now let me rename the project as Air Health Advisor. And I'm submitting it. So now the project has been renamed. And when I'm clicking on to my projects, I will be able to see that the project has got listed over here. And next time when you're logging in, you can directly access the project or if you want to edit, you can edit it, or if you want to download and share it with your friends, you can do that, or you want to delete and start up with something new, then you can even delete it. Okay, now if I'm clicking edit, it shows this way, and I can move to the files and folder in order to access my program. All right. So this is all about using my projects option in our interface. I hope you're all clear about the whole process of how to use the program in the editor and all these stuff. So let me also take you through other tools. Like you can even make use of Collab, Google Collab. You can make use of Jupyter, and you can make use of Visual Studio Code for developing your project. So I'm sharing my screen with the Visual Studio Code editor. I hope you all can see my screen, right? So yeah. Here, I have currently opened a program, which is an enhancement of the program that I have already shown you. Okay, so what kind of enhancements you can do in your program is that you can build a graphical user interface. You can make use of tkinter or Py simple GUI libraries in order to develop the graphical user interface. If you are using that, then let me show a sample project. This is how you can do some GUI. You can design the GUI, and if I'm entering the input, once I'm clicking on analyze air quality, I'm able to see the result. So here is the place where I'm able to see the climate action that I have to take, and what are the levels, whether it is within the safe limit or it is exceeding the limit. And I'm able to also see the graphical analysis. So this makes the application more interesting, right? When you are having GUI, even you can do more enhancements by converting the climate action that you are taking into in a form of a table. So all these enhancements you can make after discussing with your team. So this is one such idea with which you can develop the ad quality project. So this is all about the project that I wanted to show today. And I hope you all are waiting for some more project ideas. So let me share my screen once again with the presentation, and let's get back to the other ideas. I hope you can all see my screen, right? Okay. So as you can see here, there are some project ideas. The first one is that carbon footprint calculator. Right. Now, this can be one idea wherein you can help the users to find out how their everyday actions impact the planet. So let's say you can get some input details like what are the transportation habits the people are doing, whether they are using car or bus or cycle, and the energy usage and the food habits the people are using. And based on the input that is obtained, you can display the output, or you can estimate carbon dioxide emission that the people are making. You can provide tips to reduce the carbon footprint as well, right? And that is the climate action. An energy consumption tracker, as the name indicates, you can see that it can help us understand the electricity usage and how to make it cleaner and more efficient. So uh, and the input details that can be given for this project is that what could be the daily or weekly energy usage, and the appliance usage, how many hours of watching television, and how many of hours AC was air conditioning was used. And the suggestions can be in such a way that we are going to reduce the energy usage. You can mention that unplug the devices were not in use, and you have to make the suggestions based on the input details that have been given. And eco habit tracker, that's the next idea, with which you can track your daily habits, especially the one that harm your environment, right? Like thinking about the plastic usage, you can think about the usage of plastic food packaging, or the electricity that is left on by mistake, everyday usage of various activities. And daily plastic usage, maybe you can collect the number of plastic items that are used, that the type of waste, and you can even generate the type of waste, like what are the types of waste, disposable bags and bottles, and finally come up with a solution that you can try using a cloth bag tomorrow, or switch to reusable bottles. In that way you can give the solutions. And the green transport recommender, it is all about the transportation. It helps users to choose the transport that's better for the planet. When start and end location is given, you can suggest a greener route, a shorter route, and you can suggest asking them to go by bike or walk or public transport, or the metro, that can save the carbon dioxide, that can reduce the amount of carbon dioxide. So if people are entering the values in terms of carbon dioxide, or if the people are entering the input in terms of the amount of the number of hours the car or any other vehicle is being used, you can calculate the level of carbon dioxide emission that is happening. And you can mention that if you are taking a metro, you can save this much amount of carbon dioxide if you are taking a metro. Like that you can come up with some suggestions. You can even recommend carpooling or ride share options as well in case of green transport recommender. These are some of the tips that I can give you about each and every idea, but you can also do a bit of research and come up with various other things as well. And now I'm moving on to it another set of ideas. Here it is tree planting tracker. This is an awesome project. If your class or community is planting trees, then it tracks how much of carbon you are offsetting, right? And the inputs can be the number of trees that are planted, the type of the tree, the date of planting. You can get all these things as input, and you can estimate how much of carbon dioxide is being absorbed as and when the number of trees are planted are getting increased, how the level is getting decreased. You can show some visual representation as well. And water usage climate action. Uh, this project can help people track how much of water they are using in daily activities. Like more importantly, we have to mention that they have to reduce the waste and build water smart habits. So a number of minutes spent showering, you can get that as the input. The other tasks like brushing, washing hands, and liters of water that are used for cleaning purposes. So you can get all these details, and you can total out how much of water that is being consumed, and you can uh, give some tips that you can use. Instead of running water, you can use the a better one, and maybe even a water saving score can be given. And track, you can also track how much of water is being used over the time, right? And renewable energy calculator can be another idea, which can show how much of energy can be generated from cleaner sources, like how much of carbon we could save by making the switch. Input can be given as the user's average electricity usage, and the output can be the estimated energy that could be generated using the solar panels or wind turbines. And this is how you can design the renewable energy calculator. And ocean pollution tracker is yet another interesting project that helps the people track and spread awareness that we are making the oceans drowning in waste, right? Inputs can be the type of quantity of waste, and how much of plastic bottles or wrappers and that is being collected, and from where it is being collected, let's say home or beach or any other place that you have spotted. And finally you can come up with the solutions in the form of a graph. What are the most common pollutants, what are the tips to reduce the specific waste, and how the community can clean up ideas or take some pledges, how the community can come together to help us solve this issue, right? So these are some of the other ideas that I can give you apart from the air pollution project. I hope I have given quite a lot of ideas, and It's now time for us to start with the Q&A session, and we have reached the end of the session. I really had a great time sharing the ideas with you, and you can all keep experimenting, building, and most importantly, you can stay curious and committed to making a difference and by building a project. Okay, I can't wait to see the incredible projects you are coming up with. And of course, it is time to take the questions. Kindly post the questions through the chat. I'm able to see some questions. Let me stop sharing my screen. And is Python mandatory or we can use HTML? Yeah, that's a good question. Yes, of course. Python is the one that we have suggested. Python or web technologies can be used, or you can even use HTML. So, but then when you are using HTML, you can use it for design. When you need to build some logic, you need to have some other programs, right? It can be Python or JavaScript. You will need to have some other programs when you want to do some kind of calculations. So can I build a mobile app using Python for my ICO 2025 projects? Of course, you can build a project using mobile application. There are some applications available which helps you to develop a project, but then you can make sure that you are using Python to develop the mobile application projects. Which platform for GUI creation? Yeah, you can use the platform. You can use the Visual Studio Code for GUI creation. Our platform will also be ready with all the GUI creation in few days. Right now, we don't have that feature available, but then we'll be making it done soon. And for time being, you can use some other tools like Python Idle. You can make use of Visual Studio Editor in order to develop the GUI. Can we link Python and HTML? Yeah, you can do that using Flask or Django. There are languages available with which you can do that. The tools like Django and Flask help you to link both Python and HTML. So I hope I have answered all the questions. Over to Abhiraman.
Thank you, Ishwita. That was excellent. The participants have undoubtedly gained invaluable insights from this masterclass series today. Now, moving on, we at Qubits Learning hope that today's masterclass series, Climate Action Challenge Finding Solutions with Python, has enriched you with a deeper understanding of the competition track. Qubits Learning would like to thank our partners Athena Education, Copperstone Education, and Be Curious STEM Learning for being with us in this incredible knowledge-oriented competition. I thank Ms. Ishwita Mohan for your clear explanation in the masterclass, which greatly enhanced the students' understanding of the topic. Your engaging delivery and insightful examples made the session really, truly memorable. I also thank Mr. Ramachandran Shivaram, our colleague from the UAE, for addressing the questions that were raised in the chat pod. Thank you, Ramachandran. Participants, please note that we have the following masterclass series lined up soon. On April 21st, we have the masterclass on web technologies. On April 24th, we have the masterclass on Scratch. On April 30th, we have the masterclass on AI-driven solutions. And finally, on May 6th, we have the masterclass on data analysis. So please follow us on LinkedIn and Facebook for all the updates. You can also write to us for any ICO related information to connect at computingolympiad.org. We would like to wish all the participants the very best of luck in their challenges. This is your host for the evening, Abhiraman V, signing off. Thank you and have a great day.